Hey, Dr. Stone. Thanks for taking the time to meet with me. I wanted to talk with you about something I came across on your website. Before we get started, I just want to say that my goal isn't to criticize you or make accusations. I respect the work you've done in the field, and I thought it would be best to discuss my concerns directly with you.
Of course, I appreciate you coming to me directly. What's on your mind?
Well, I was reviewing your website recently and noticed a few things that stood out to me. Specifically, I saw testimonials from parents describing really dramatic outcomes, and I also noticed statements that seemed to guarantee excellent treatment results. There were even a few places where it implied that if a client doesn't make similar progress, it's probably because services weren't implemented correctly by someone else.
I see. Well, those testimonials are real. Those families did genuinely have those experiences with our services.
I understand, and I don't doubt the testimonials are authentic. My concern isn't whether they're real, it's more about how they might be interpreted by families who are looking for services.
Can you explain what you mean?
Sure, I can. Families who are searching for ABA services are often in a difficult position. They're looking for answers, support, and hope. When they see multiple testimonials describing incredible outcomes alongside statements guaranteeing success, they may start believing that those results are typical or guaranteed for their own child.
But ABA is effective. We have a strong research base behind what we do.
Absolutely. ABA has decades of research supporting its effectiveness, and many clients make significant progress. My concern is that no intervention can guarantee a specific outcome for every individual. We know that treatment results vary based on a lot of factors,
Such as?
such as things like the client's learning history, caregiver involvement, treatment integrity, environmental factors, medical concerns, and even how much opportunity there is to practice skills outside of sessions. Two clients can receive the same intervention and have very different outcomes.
That's fair.
As I was reviewing the website, I started thinking about some sections of the BACB ethics code. One that immediately came to mind was code 1.01, being truthful. We have a responsibility to provide accurate information about our services and avoid statements that could be misleading.
Are you saying I'm being dishonest?
No, not at all. I don't think you're intentionally trying to mislead anyone. I think this is more about how the information could be interpreted by the public. Intent and impact aren't always the same thing.
That is a very good point.
Another code I thought about was 5.03, delivering services consistent with research. Our claims about treatment outcomes should be supported by the evidence. The research tells us ABA can be highly effective, but it doesn't tell us that every client will achieve the same outcome or that success can be guaranteed.
I can see that.
I also thought about Code 5.05 regarding testimonials and advertising. Testimonials aren't necessarily unethical, but we have to be careful that they don't create unrealistic expectations for the families.
Can I ask you something? If the testimonials are real and the outcomes actually happened, why could they be unethical to share them?
Well, that's a fair question. I don't think it's unethical to share them. The concern is the context. If someone reads several testimonials describing extraordinary success stories without any mention that outcomes vary, they may assume those outcomes are typical for everyone.
But what about families that want hope? If I make everything sound uncertain, won't that discourage them from seeking services in the future?
I don't think so. I think there's a difference between giving hope and making promises. We can tell families that ABA is evidence-based and that meaningful progress is possible without guaranteeing a specific result.
That is very true.
And honestly, I think families appreciate the transparency. If we're upfront about the fact that the treatment is individualized and progress looks different for every client, we're helping them make informed decisions.
Marketing is tough, though. There are a lot of providers competing for clients. Sometimes you feel the pressure and the need to stand out.
I get that, but I think our responsibility to clients has to come before marketing. Even if other providers are making exaggerated claims, we still have to represent our services accurately.
That is very true and hard to argue with. I agree.
Something else that stood out to me was the statement suggesting that poor outcomes are due to incompetent intervention delivery.
What concerns you about that?
Honestly, quite a bit. It oversimplifies a really complex issue. Treatment outcomes aren't determined by one variable. There are a lot of reasons a client may progress more slowly than expected.
Such as?
There are those things like medical factors, inconsistent implementation across the environments, caregiver stress, maybe lack of practice opportunities, changes in routine, competing reinforcers, and many other variables. It's not always because someone is incompetent.
That's true.
That statement could also lead families to blame previous providers without having all the information. It might create unnecessary distrust between families and professionals.
Thank you for that. I hadn't considered that.
And from a professional standpoint, it can affect the credibility of our field. If behavior analysts are making guarantees and blaming others when those guarantees aren't met, it doesn't reflect well on ABA.
No, I definitely don't want to hurt the reputation of our profession and our ABA field.
I know. That's why I wanted to have this conversation. I don't think your intention is to harm anyone. I think this is more about making sure the website reflects ethical standards and the science of behavior analysis analysis.
So, what changes would you recommend?
First, I remove any language that guarantees success or specific outcomes.
Okay,
Second, I'd keep the testimonials, but add language making it clear that their individual experience and not guaranteed results.
that seems reasonable.
Third, I would include a statement explaining that treatment outcomes vary across individuals and depend on many factors.
What if I add a disclaimer that says the results may vary?
I mean, that would definitely help. I think it would also be important to review the rest of the website to make sure the overall message is consistent with that disclaimer.
That makes sense.
You can still highlight positive outcomes and the effectiveness of ABA. The goal isn't to make the website less optimistic. It's to make sure the optimism is grounded in evidence and realistic expectations.
Thank you. I like that perspective.
Another thing I always think about is what happens if a family reads the website and then their child doesn't make progress as quickly as they expected.
Well, I could definitely understand them becoming frustrated.
Exactly. They might lose confidence in treatment even if progress is happening. They may compare their child to the success stories on the website and feel discouraged.
I can definitely see that.
That's why accurate representation is important. It protects families and helps them develop realistic expectations from the beginning.
What would you do if you saw another BCBA doing something similar?
Honestly, I'd handle it the same way. I'd gather information, review the ethics code, and have a respectful conversation first. I think most people respond better when concerns are addressed professionally.
So you wouldn't immediately report them to the BACB ethics board?
No. I think it's important to attempt to resolve concerns directly when appropriate. Most ethical issues can be addressed through professional communication before escalating things.
I appreciate that approach.
We all make mistakes. None of us are perfect. Sometimes we don't realize how something might come across until someone points it out.
That's very true.
The important thing is being willing to reflect on the concern and make changes if needed.
Honestly, after hearing your perspective, I can see how some of the wordings on the website could be problematic. It wasn't my intention at all.
And that's exactly why I wanted to talk to you directly. I didn't think there was any malicious intent behind it.
And I appreciate that. I will review the website, consult the ethics code, and work on the mark with the marketing team to make some revisions so that they're more aligned with our practice and our ethical codes.
I think that's a great plan. It protects the clients, supports informed decision making, and helps maintain the integrity of our profession.
Thank you so much. You've given me a lot to think about.
I'm glad because at the end of the day, I think we're both trying to do the same thing, which is help clients and represent ABA in an ethical and professional way.
Yes, I completely agree.
Thank you again for taking the time to meet with me and talk through this. I appreciate your willingness to listen and consider another perspective.
And thank you for bringing it up to my attention respectfully. I appreciate the conversation.
Of course, I'll follow up with you in a few weeks and see how things are going. If you need any support with the revision, I'd be happy to help.
Sounds good. Thanks again.
Thank you for your time.